You know that feeling, brother. Sitting there in the dark, phone in your hand, waiting on a reply that's never coming, staring at a screen like it's gonna save you, scrolling through old messages like a fool, looking for signs, looking for hope. Let me wake you up. A woman doesn't pull away because she's confused. She pulls away because she doesn't feel led. She pulls away because she's outgrown the man, still waiting for her approval. But here's the other side no one tells you. If she's still here, showing up, leaning in, making room in her life for you, that's not an accident, that's not luck. That means she's already imagining herself with a man who doesn't need her, but knows exactly how to lead her, and that man better be you. Today, we're cutting through the noise. I'm breaking down 3 clear signs a woman shows when she's already imagining a future with you. Not when she's playing games, not when she's testing you, but when she sees you as a man worth building with. This isn't about chasing her. This isn't about decoding mixed signals like some lost boy. This is about understanding female nature through the lens of masculine discipline, emotional control, and self-respect. Because real men don't chase approval, we protect our peace. Drop it in the comments right now. I protect my peace. Let's get to work. Number 1, she seeks your guidance, not your validation. There's a moment most men never recognize until it's too damn late. They're so locked into their old patterns, their neediness, their approval chasing, their little habits. They think make them nice, that they miss the doorway every man should be looking for. It doesn't start with fireworks. It doesn't start with some romantic confession. It starts subtle, quiet. Maybe she asks you a simple question. What do you think I should do? Or she opens up about her life, her future, the hard decision. And what do most guys do? They think it's their shot to impress her. So they try to say what they think she wants to hear. They soften their opinion. They hedge. They talk in circles. Because underneath it all, they're terrified of rocking the boat, terrified of losing her approval. And let me tell you, brother, that's exactly how you lose her respect. See, women don't admire men who tell them what they want to hear. They admire men who tell them what they need to hear. They respect men who live in their truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's hard. That's why I'm telling you right now, if a woman is seeking your guidance, not your validation, that's no small thing. That's not casual. That's not flirtation. That's nature speaking loud and clear. It means she's already testing the idea of trusting you, not just liking you, not just dating you, trusting you. Woman doesn't ask a man she sees as weak for guidance. She doesn't look to a man who's unsure of himself for direction. That spot, that sacred place in her life, is reserved for one kind of man. A man who leads himself. A man who doesn't flinch when the world gets loud. A man who speaks calmly, directly, without bullshit or sugarcoating. That's the man who earns a woman's trust, not overnight, not with some magic line or manipulative tactic, but over time, through consistency, through unshakable groundedness. Let me tell you how this works. Early on, a woman will test you. That's natural. She'll push a little. She'll challenge your frame. Not because she's playing games, but because she wants to know if the man standing in front of her is real, or just another actor putting on a show. But if she starts asking for your opinion, really asking, that's a shift. That's her saying, without saying, I see something steady in you. I see something I can trust. And this is where men fall into 2 categories. Boys chase validation, men offer guidance. Boys fear rejection, men stand in truth. And it's not about being harsh. It's not about dominating anyone. It's about knowing yourself so well, knowing your values, your boundaries, your path, that you can speak into her life from a place of calm clarity. That's rare today. That's what makes a man unforgettable, not because he was loud, not because he was flashy, but because he was rooted, solid, unmoved by approval. Now listen, this isn't always easy, especially if you've been burned before, if you've been ghosted, disrespected, left behind by someone who never saw your worth. I've been there. I know the pain of giving your heart to someone who didn't respect it. But here's the hard truth, brother. That pain wasn't the problem. Your reaction to it was. It either made you softer or stronger. It either broke your frame nor reinforced it. And every moment after a breakup, every moment sitting alone wondering what went wrong, is an opportunity to decide, am I going to stay the same boy who chased validation, or am I going to become the man who leads? Because let me tell you something, no one told me when I was down bad. Women can feel it. They can feel the difference between a man who's trying to impress them and a man who's living fully in his truth. They move differently around a man like that. They relax, they lean in, they start imagining themselves building a life beside you because they know you're not about to fold under pressure. So, next time she asks you what you think, next time she opens up about something real, don't pander, don't play it safe, be still, be clear, be honest. That's leadership, that's masculinity, not the loud, insecure performance of weak men, but the quiet, steady presence of a man who knows who the hell he is. And here's the part you've got to burn into your mind. Women may be attracted to looks, they may be drawn to charm, but they trust presence, they trust clarity, they trust a man who speaks his truth without fear of losing anyone, because a man like that, he doesn't need anyone. And that's rare, that's powerful, that's unforgettable. A woman may love a man for how he makes her feel, but she trusts a man for how he makes her grow. Most men don't even realize they're doing it, but you can spot it from a mile away. The energy's off. He's too eager. He leans in too much, talks too fast, smiles too wide. He thinks he's being charming, but she feels it. She feels the weight of a man who's not standing on his own two damn feet. And brother, nothing repels a woman's respect faster than a man who looks at her like a fan, looks at a celebrity. That's the truth. Nobody told us growing up. Most men are taught to chase, compliment her more, agree with everything she says, laugh at her jokes like your life depends on it. But let me tell you something hard. Women don't need more fans. They don't need more men clapping from the cheap seats. They need anchors. They need men who know who the hell they are, with or without her attention, because here's what happens. If you're a fan, she owns your energy. You'll wait on her texts. You'll wait for her approval. You'll start adjusting everything about yourself just to stay in her good graces. You'll lie to yourself. You'll avoid hard truths. All just to avoid rocking the boat. But the irony is, that's exactly how you lose her. Because every time you abandon yourself just to stay liked, every time you soften your voice just to avoid conflict, every time you become safe instead of solid, she feels it. She feels the drift. She may not say it out loud. She might even appreciate the attention for a little while. But deep down, she's losing trust. Not because you weren't nice enough, not because you weren't good enough, but because you didn't lead. See, leadership isn't about controlling anyone. It's about controlling yourself. It's about holding frame when emotions rise. It's about telling the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable. It's about slowing down, breathing, and speaking from principle. Not panic, not approval-seeking. Principle. Let me give you an example. Let's say she comes to you with a problem, something real, something heavy, and you can feel the old pattern trying to take over, the part of you that wants to say, oh, whatever you want, babe, whatever makes you happy, whatever you think is best. But brother, that's not leadership. That's avoidance. That's passivity dressed up as kindness, and it leaves her feeling alone, even with a man right in front of her. So what's the Stoic response? Or you slow down. You don't rush to please her. You don't rush to fix everything like some damn emotional janitor. You take a breath. You ask real questions. You offer real perspective. You speak clearly, directly, not to impress her, not to win points, but because it's the truth as you see it. And here's the beauty of it. When you stop being her fan, when you become her anchor, she relaxes. Her nervous system calms. She stops feeling like she has to be the leader all the time. She stops feeling like she's alone in her own storm, because she knows, this man can handle me. This man can handle life. That's rare today. And let me be clear, this doesn't mean being cold. This doesn't mean being distant or stoic in the fake Instagram sense. It means presence. It means strength. It means you stand on your truth, even if it costs you, even if she doesn't like it in the moment. Because real women are grown women, feminine women. Don't respect men who fold, they respect men who guide, and they only follow men who lead themselves. So the next time you feel that anxious energy creeping in, that need to impress her, that need to agree with everything just to keep the peace, stop. Catch yourself. Breathe. Remember who the hell you are. You're not a fan. You're not an entertainer. You're not here to be liked. You're here to lead, quietly, consistently, calmly. Because that's what a real man does. He doesn't chase her approval. He protects his peace. And in doing so, he gives her the greatest gift a man can give a woman. Safety. Not the safety of someone who panders, but the safety of a man who cannot be moved by anyone's mood. A man who knows, this is who I am, and this is how I live. That's how you lead. That's how you build something real, not by being loud, not by being soft, but by being still. Still in your truth, still in your power, still in your direction, because fans come and go, but an anchor holds steady, no matter the storm. Quotable closing line, stop being her fan, be her anchor. Men who chase approval drown, men who lead themselves stay standing. Number 2, she creates space for you in her world. It usually starts small, little things. You don't notice it at first, because you've been so used to chasing, so used to fighting for scraps of attention. But this feels different. She starts bringing you around her friends. She asks about your plans next weekend, not because she's nosy, but because she's thinking ahead. You catch her remembering tiny things about you that you forgot you even said. Your coffee order, your favorite movie growing up, some random story you told in passing, and slowly, quietly, she starts carving out space for you in her world. And if you're not paying attention, if you're still operating from your old wounds, your neediness, your approval chasing, you'll misread this moment. You'll think it means you've made it. You'll think it's time to relax, get comfortable, stop leading. And that right there, brother, that's the trap. Because weak men, undisciplined men, they see a woman's effort as permission to coast. They see her planning as their green light to stop driving. And you know what happens next? The polarity dies. She starts to feel what so many women complain about. She did the work to create space for him, but now she's the one pulling the weight. Now she's planning everything. Now she's emotionally leading. And the man she once saw as solid, as driven, as worth following, becomes just another passenger in her life. It happens quietly, gradually, until one day she wakes up and realizes she feels more alone with you than she did without you. That's why I'm telling you. When a woman starts creating space for you, it's not a finish line. It's not the time to slow down. It's the time to sharpen, to lock in, to stay moving forward, because real feminine energy wants to follow masculine direction, not domination, not control, direction, presence, leadership. Women nest when they care. They create space when they see long-term potential, but they only stay in that space if the man continues to lead himself. That means staying on your mission, staying in your routine, staying disciplined with your time, your energy, your focus, not becoming another boyfriend who loses himself the second things get comfortable. I've seen it too many times. Men go from being the hunter to the house cat. They stop doing the things that built attraction in the first place. They stop chasing excellence, they stop growing, and then they wonder why she pulls back, why she gets quiet, why her respect starts to slip away. Brother, she didn't change, you did. You stopped being the man she wanted to build with, and you became the man who waits for her to build everything around him. That's not masculine, that's not leadership, that's dependence, and dependence kills desire. So here's the Stoic response. When you notice a woman creating space for you, receive it with gratitude, but don't depend on it. Appreciate it, but stay on your path. Stay rooted in your habits. Stay consistent with your mission. Let her world orbit yours, not the other way around, because the second you abandon your purpose to orbit hers, you lose the very gravity that pulled her in. Real women don't want to carry the emotional weight of the relationship. They don't want to lead the dance. They want to relax, to trust, to feel safe following a man who knows where he's going, a man who doesn't disappear into her life, but invites her to join him in his. That's the difference. That's the line weak men cross without realizing. They become so focused on being liked, being accepted, being easy to be with, that they lose the edge that made them magnetic in the first place. They stop being men of direction and they become men of reaction. So hear me clearly. If she's making space for you in her world, honor it, but lead yourself harder. Lead yourself first. Never get lazy. Never get soft. Never let comfort take your crown. A woman's space is not your new home base. It's a gift, a reflection of trust, a reflection of respect. But respect has to be earned every day, not through performance, but through presence, through purpose, through the quiet strength of a man who knows. No matter how good it gets, I stay on my path. That's how you build something real. That's how you keep a woman's desire alive, not by chasing her, not by orbiting her, but by leading yourself so powerfully, she never wants to leave your world. Quotable closing line. She might create space for you, but a real man stays rooted in his own. This is written as a real man would speak, like a brother who's been through pain, loss, and rebuilding. Calm, direct, no fluff. There's a mistake almost every man makes when he feels seen. Finally, it's subtle. It sneaks up on you. See, after you've been through enough heartbreak, enough ghosting, enough being treated like an option, the first time a woman shows you real effort, real energy, it hits different. Feels rare, feels good, feels safe. You've spent so long chasing, begging, trying to be enough, that when she starts remembering the small things, starts inviting you in, starts creating space for you in her world, most men start to relax. And brother, that's where things start to fall apart, because there's a very fine line between appreciation and dependence, and if you're not careful, if you're not grounded, if you don't catch yourself in the moment, you'll step right over it. You'll start living for her effort, living for her attention, living for her energy. And when that happens, you're no longer the man she was drawn to, because the man she was drawn to, he wasn't waiting around. He wasn't orbiting her world. He wasn't putting his purpose on hold. He was moving, living, focused, disciplined. That's what pulled her in. That's what made her trust him. Not because he ignored her, not because he was cold, but because he was complete before she showed up. That's masculine energy. It moves forward, regardless, not away from her, but through life itself. And the women who respect that energy, they want to join it, they want to add to it, they want to build beside it. But the second you slow down, the second you stop chasing excellence because you think her effort means you've got her, that's when you lose your edge. That's when you start living in her frame, instead of holding your own. Look, a woman's effort is a beautiful thing. It should be honored, appreciated, never expected, but never depended on, because the man who depends on her effort, he starts making subtle deals with himself. I won't go to the gym tonight. She wants to cuddle. I'll cancel my plans. She's feeling insecure. I'll put my dreams on hold. She needs me around more. And on the surface, it looks romantic, it looks sweet, but underneath it, it's the death of masculine energy, because the moment you start orbiting her world, she feels it. She feels the weight of being the center of your life. And here's what no one tells you: women don't want that pressure, not the real ones, not the feminine ones. A feminine woman doesn't want to be the sun you orbit. She wants to be in your sky. But she doesn't want to become your sky. She wants to be chosen. Yes, she wants to be loved deeply, but she also wants to respect you. And she cannot respect a man who abandons himself for her. That's not love. That's worship. And worship doesn't lead a relationship. It suffocates it. So here's the Stoic response, brother. Honor her effort. Appreciate it, receive it, but never depend on it. Stay moving forward. Stay on your mission. Stay on your path. She joins your life. You don't disappear into hers. Because a man who loses himself trying to keep her is the same man she'll lose respect for when things get hard. She didn't fall for you because you were available 24/7. She didn't admire you because you had nothing going on. She was drawn to the man who didn't need her, but chose her anyway. That's power. That's real love. Not built on control, not built on dependence, built on freedom. Two whole people choosing to walk together, side by side, not chasing, not orbiting, not begging, walking, rooted, grounded, unmoved by fear, unmoved by loneliness, unmoved by the highs and lows of emotion. That's masculine leadership. That's the energy that lasts. So next time she shows up with effort, with care, with love, receive it, honor it, but you keep moving, you keep building, you stay dangerous, not dangerous in a violent way, dangerous in the sense that you're complete, you're full, and nothing, no woman, no loss, no heartbreak will ever pull you off your path again, because at the end of the day, she doesn't want to complete you, she wants to join you. And if you've built yourself right, that's the highest honor a man can receive, not her validation, not her attention, her trust. Quotable closing line: A man doesn't lose himself for love. He finds himself first and lets love meet him there. Number 3, she tests less and invests more. What this really means: most men don't know how to recognize peace when they finally get it. That's the real tragedy. They've been living in chaos so long, running after women who play games, walking on eggshells, getting used to drama like it's normal. And when that's all you've known, quiet feels foreign, effort feels suspicious, consistency feels boring. So when a good woman shows up, when a real woman starts investing, when she slows down with the tests, when she starts showing up with peace instead of attitude, most men blow it. They self-sabotage, they stir the pot, they pick fights, not because they're bad men, but because their nervous system is addicted to dysfunction. See, early on, every woman tests you. That's nature. It's not evil. It's not wrong. It's life. A woman needs to know, is this man real? Is he solid? Or is he another fraud in a nice guy mask? She tests your patience. She watches how you handle her moods. She pays attention to your confidence, not when things are easy, but when they get inconvenient. But here's the thing. When a woman starts imagining you long-term, when she feels safe in your leadership, when she trusts your emotional frame, the tests slow down, the attitude fades, games get replaced with effort. That's when her energy shifts, not from weakness, not from submission, but from respect, from trust. And this is where most men screw up. They mistake peace for boredom. They mistake consistency for routine. And they unconsciously start picking at the relationship. They get reactive. They get needy again. Why? Because they haven't learned to sit in calm. They haven't trained themselves to receive love without performing, without proving, without chasing. They don't know how to hold peace, because all they've known is war. Brother, let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. When a woman stops testing and starts investing, that's not your cue to relax. That's not your green light to get soft. That's your moment to lock in, to deepen your presence, to lead even quieter, even calmer, even stronger. Real feminine energy shows up when she knows the man is unshakable, when she trusts that no matter what happens outside, the man she chose stays grounded inside. That's rare, that's powerful, but it takes discipline, it takes emotional control, and it takes a man who doesn't need chaos to feel alive. Look, if she's still playing games 6 months in, if she's still testing like crazy after you've been consistent, that's not the sign of a high-quality woman. That's the sign of someone addicted to drama, someone who's never healed, someone who will drain you until there's nothing left. But if you've been leading well, if you've stayed on your purpose, if you've built a life of integrity, routine, discipline, and she starts leaning in, she starts bringing softness instead of sharpness, she starts building instead of testing. Brother, don't mistake that for her losing interest. That's what peace looks like. That's what feminine energy looks like when it feels safe enough to let go. And your job is not to stir the pot to feel something. Your job is not to create distance just to get a reaction. Your job is to stay rooted, to stay steady, to stay leading, because the truth is, women will only invest in men who stay invested in themselves. They will only bring softness to a man who doesn't abandon his strength. And they will only stay long-term with a man who keeps growing, even after he has her. That's where weak men fall apart. They think the job is done. They think the work is over. But a real man knows the work just begins. Leading is not a weekend job. Masculinity isn't a tactic. It's a way of life. It's built in your habits, in your discipline, in the way you show up on your worst day, not just your best one. So when you see her effort increase, when the games fade, when the attitude softens, don't overthink it, don't break it, don't stir up chaos because you're addicted to struggle. Sit in the calm, breathe in the peace, and stay dangerous anyway. Keep growing, keep leading, keep living like a man on a mission. Because the deepest love, the real love, comes not when you chase it, but when you live so completely, so purposefully, so fully. That love doesn't complete you, it joins you. That's how you build something that lasts. That's how you become unforgettable. Quotable closing line. The tests fade when trust is built, but a real man keeps leading, even when peace arrives. Written in the tone of a man who's walked through hell, made his mistakes, rebuilt in silence, and now speaks the hard truth with calm strength. It's one of the oldest mistakes in the book, and every man makes it at some point, usually. Right after things start going good, you finally meet a woman who gets you. She sees your value. She respects how you carry yourself. She starts showing up, calling more, texting first, making time for you. She trusts you, and it feels good. Damn good. It feels rare, because for years, maybe decades, you were starving for that. Starving for a woman to finally choose you, to stop playing games, to stop testing your patience, to see you as the man you always knew you could be, but nobody else seemed to recognize. And here's where it gets dangerous. Most men, the second they feel chosen, the second the testing slows down, the second peace enters the room, they soften, they get comfortable, they put their foot on the brake, they stop sharpening their sword, they stop leading. They let her effort become the new fuel source for their life. And brother, that's how you lose it all. Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, quietly. You go from leading yourself to following her mood. You go from staying disciplined to making excuses. You go from a man on a mission to a man living for comfort. And here's what no one tells you when you're hurting. A woman doesn't lose respect for you because you're imperfect. She loses respect when you stop growing. She loses respect when you betray the man you showed her in the beginning, because the man she admired was driven, focused, calm, dangerous. Not in violence, but in independence. A man whose life was full before she arrived. And the minute you abandon that, the minute you stop leading yourself, she feels it. Women feel everything, long before they say it, long before they leave. They feel the weight of your softness creeping in. They feel the loss of structure, and it chips away at trust. Like water on stone. That's why I'm telling you right now. Stay grounded, stay sharp. Don't over-celebrate this moment. Be grateful. But stay moving, stay building, stay living like the man who could lose it all tomorrow and still be unshaken, because this is where weak men fall apart. They mistake love for arrival. They think peace means the work is done, but a stoic man knows better. Stoic man knows love is not a trophy. It's a responsibility. Peace is not a finish line. It's the next level of the fight. The war against yourself doesn't stop when you're chosen. It starts when you're chosen. Because now you're fighting comfort and you're fighting ease. You're fighting the slow decay of your masculine edge. So what's the Stoic response? It's simple. Stay grounded. Stay consistent. Keep doing what built the respect. Don't get soft. Don't overcorrect. Don't lose the solitude that shaped you. You lead yourself first, every damn day. Before you lead her, before you lead a family, before you lead a business, you wake up and lead yourself. Because if you lose that, you lose everything. Not because she wants to leave, not because she's disloyal, but because no woman, no real woman, wants to carry the weight of leading a man who's gone soft. She wants a man who stays rooted. She wants a man she can trust, not just love. A man she follows, not because he demands it, but because his life is moving forward with or without her. That's masculine discipline. That's consistency. That's what separates the rare few from the common many. So when she invests more, when she tests less, when the games fade and the effort shows up, don't let your guard down. Not in fear, but in honor. Honor what you built. Honor who you became. Honor the process that took you from lost to found, from hurt to healed, from chasing women to leading yourself. Lead quietly, lead steadily, lead relentlessly. Because, brother, you earned her respect through masculine discipline. The only way to keep it, maintain it through consistency. Every day, every moment, without applause, without attention, without needing anything but your own approval. That's how men build love that lasts. That's how men become unshakable. Quotable closing line. She followed you because you led yourself. She'll stay with you because you never stopped. A brother, this is what it all comes down to. Not games, not tricks, not chasing approval. Women follow men who lead themselves. A woman imagines her future with a man for one reason, because his life already has weight, already has structure, already has purpose. She sees the way you move. She feels the way you carry yourself. She trusts the man who doesn't flinch under pressure, because he's faced his own darkness and didn't run. That's rare. That's power. These signs we've talked about, her seeking your guidance, her creating space for you, her testing less and investing more, they aren't random. They're reflections of the man you've built. You didn't earn her respect because you were the loudest, or the flashiest, or the smoothest talker. You earned it because you stayed grounded, you stayed disciplined, you stayed true when most men break. That's the work. That's what real masculinity looks like. Quiet, patient, unshakable. And brother, this journey doesn't end here. The world will keep testing you. Life will keep testing you. Love will keep testing you. And every time you meet it the same way, calm, clear, rooted, not for her, not for them, for you. Because that's what real men do. We don't beg for peace. We become it. We don't wait for life to get easier. We get stronger. We lead ourselves. First, always, forever. So if you're watching this right now, if these words hit something deep in your chest, if you know it's time to lock in, tighten up and stay the course, drop it in the comments right now. Write it like a vow to yourself. I rebuild in silence. Say it like a man who's done playing small. Say it like a man who's finished chasing things outside of him. Say it like a man who knows. We don't just heal, we rebuild. And we do it quietly and patiently, relentlessly. Send this to a brother who needs to hear it. Because this world doesn't need more noise. It needs more men who lead, men who stay solid, men who rebuild. In silence, and when the world looks again, we'll be standing stronger than ever, unmoved, unbreakable, ready.